Welcome to Introduction to Yoga. This is a class to introduce you to yoga if you've never taken. I'm just going to walk you through some poses that make up a sun salutation in a yoga class. It's just a short little class that'll start to get you introduced to some of the poses and how they flow together. So, start with your feet parallel, hip width apart. And the way you find that is you can put your fists together like this. Your feet are planted, they'll be facing the front of the mat, so you'll be up here. And you put your hands in between your feet like that, and they won't be squished. So there's just enough space. So sometimes we're not really aware of our hip width, and some people have different versions. So that's how we find it when I teach class. So we're going to start in Tadasana, which is mountain pose. So it's standing here. Our palms are going to face out. Go ahead and close your eyes. One of the things I love most about yoga is the internal reflection that you have while you move through these poses. It's interesting to see what happens in our mind when we move our body. So coming into your body, palms facing the front of your mat, and just notice your breath. And allow your breath to start to deepen. Maybe your inhales get a little longer and deeper into your lungs, and your exhales also get longer. Perhaps when you inhale, you feel the stretch across the back of your lungs, across your ribs. When you exhale, maybe you feel your belly draw in and up. Now, since this is called mountain pose, I want you to take a minute and imagine the majesty, the strength, and the size of a mountain, right? It's a mountain. So imagine that same strength and size in your stance. Feel your entire foot, each side, each foot, rooted on the ground. Feel your feet rooted into the ground as though the ground comes up through your feet. The mountain is part of the horizon. Our feet and our body are pulling up out of the ground like a mountain. The energy is kind of come up our legs, so we have energy in our body standing here. We're not just casually standing here. We have energy coming up. Maybe your kneecaps draw up and your quadriceps fire up a little bit. Roll your shoulders back together and down your back, opening up your heart space and your chest. Let the inside of your elbows, the inside crease of your elbows face the front of your mat. All we're doing at this moment is standing with energy and breathing deeply in mountain pose. On your next inhale, I want you to float your arms up above your head. Inhale, they reach up, shoulders stay down. On an exhale, turn your palms out and allow your arms to float down to your side. We're just going to start moving with our breath. Inhale, that's part of what yoga is. That's just a part of it. But we move with our breath. And exhale, arms come down. Continue again, inhaling. And exhaling. And let your arms stay at your side this time in mountain pose. Put a little bend in your knees. Actually, you can put a little bit more bend in your knees if you want. We're going to fold forward. Now, a forward fold is a pretty intense pose in yoga. So it's okay to have your legs bent. Nobody needs to be perfect. You could even have blocks in front of you or a chair or something if you want to rest your arms. So bend those legs and hinging at your hips, folding forward. We're just going to go into a forward fold. You can put, if your hands reach the ground, that's fine. You can put your fingertips on the ground. You can put your palms on the ground. But if they don't, you're welcome to let them hang. Or like I said, you can find something to rest them on. What I want you to focus on is your neck, releasing any tension in your neck while you're here. So ultimately, you're hanging upside down here, right? We've got our head hanging. So we are upside down and the blood is going to our head. Check in with that neck. We're still breathing. So imagine that inhale coming all the way into your lungs and into your neck. And the exhale takes out the stress, takes out the tension, takes out the squeezing or the holding on or the gripping. Inhaling, exhaling, releasing any tension. That goes for your jaw, your temples, between your eyebrows. All we're doing is forward folding. Now let's see if you can relax your arms. It's a lot, I know. That's why I said you can bend those knees. You can bend them a lot if you want. Now we're going to do a half lift. It's exactly what it sounds like. You can place your hands on your shins or your thighs. We're going to press into our shins or our thighs. Roll your shoulders back and down your spine, pressing out halfway up. So it's a flat back. So our head, our nose is still facing the ground. We're not looking out. We're not touching the back of our neck. We're just going to hold this. Belly draws in. We're still breathing and exhaling. And then on an exhale, go ahead and fold forward again. We're going to step back to a plank. This is not a forearm plank. This is a plank on our hands. Now, normally you'll have your hands flat like this. You might see me using my knuckles, and that's due to arthritis. So that's a modification that I make. You're welcome to make any modification that you need for comfort. So I'm going to give you some modifications as we move back into a plank pose. So I use my knuckle on my bad wrist. You can have your hands flat, or you could do the same if you needed to. We're going to step our right leg back. So we look like we're in a lunge from here, yeah? So then our left leg is going to join it. So we're in a straight line, but let's go ahead and put our knees down for this first one. Untuck your toes, and your hips and your shoulders and everything stays in alignment. Now check in with the shoulders. Make sure they're not crunching up around your ears. Roll them back and down. Belly draws in. Head, crown of the head is pulling forward. Shoulder blades draw together. Belly draws in. And just stay in this modified plank just for a second. Press the ground away. Feel that space between your shoulder blades. Feel it broaden. Now breathe. Breathe into that space. Breathe that deep breath that goes all the way down to the bottom of your lungs, and then exhale it through your nose. We always inhale and exhale through our nose unless we are doing a different breath work, unless instructed otherwise. It's an inhale and an exhale through the nose. Now I want you to imagine wrapping your triceps under. So you can stay in that plank. Keep pressing the ground away. I'm going to show you. I want you to imagine that these triceps wrap underneath so that the crease of your elbow faces the front of your mat. So when we're going to bend our elbows in a second to lower down to our bellies, the elbow is not going to go out like a push-up. It's actually wrapped. So this tricep is wrapped. They're going to bend to the back. So they're bending towards your rib cage. So that's sometimes tricky for people to work. So you're rotating in that shoulder, right? In that shoulder, in that tricep, rotating. This crease of the elbow is facing front. I know you're still holding that plank. Hang in there. And you're going to rotate and lower slowly. Elbows squeezing towards the rib cage. Squeezing, squeezing until you get your belly all the way on the ground. You can extend your legs out. Now squeeze those elbows together. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And you're just going to start to lift your heart up. The back of your neck is still long, so we're not really looking up for the sky. We're moving in. So what we just did by lowering down, let me clarify. Lowering down to our belly, we're doing a chaturanga. So that's like a yoga push-up, right? So it's the bottom half of a yoga push-up. Now we're going to move into a cobra. A cobra can look a bunch of different ways in the height of the cobra. So just lifting your chin, lifting your shoulders, squeezing your shoulder blades. That's a baby cobra. This is a cobra. This is plenty. You can leave the back of your neck long. You don't need to crunch it by looking up. You can stay here. You can even check in with your back muscles and lift your arms up off the ground and just use your back muscles. If you want to squeeze those elbows in, press into the ground and lift a little bit higher, you can do that as well. Shoulders roll down the back away from the ears. Big inhale, lower back down. So that's our cobra. We're going to press up to hands and knees. We're going to move into a downward facing dog, which I'm sure you may have heard of. So a downward facing dog is an upside down V. Tuck your toes under. We're going to lift our hips up into the air. Knees come up off the ground. Hips go up and our head drops down. The crown of our head drops towards the ground. Heels drop towards the ground. So heels are sinking and gravity is allowing the heels to sink towards the ground. They might touch. They might not. It doesn't matter. It's still a downward facing dog. Your whole hand is pressing into the ground. The palm, the base of the palm, the fingertips, all pressing into the ground. Your knees can be bent here. You can bend your knees. And what you're imagining is reaching, stretching your hips up towards the sky away from your fingertips. So you start to feel length in your lumbar spine, right? Your lower back. your rib cage and your hips move away from each other, so you get a little more space right here in this mid-core section of your body. Now, even though you're upside down, your shoulders are still drawing away from your ears. So now they're drawing up towards the sky. There's a lot happening here. If you need to take a break at any point and put your knees down and take a break, you may. I'm getting a little tickle on my nose. Downward facing dog. Now, from here, let's go back to that breath that we did, all the way down deep into our belly, deep into our lungs. Breathe in and out through our nose. Do that 2 more times. In. And remember, the exhale is an opportunity to relax something, to let go, whether it's physical or emotional. Check in with your jaw, your temples, your shoulders. Is anything holding tension? It might be. All right, look up at your hands. You're going to step your right foot up towards your right wrist. If it doesn't make it there in one step, that's okay. Just take however many steps you need to get that right foot forward. And then the left foot's going to join it. We're going to half lift again, so you can press your hands into your shins or your thighs, or if you want to leave them on the ground and half lift, you can do that too. So long spine, nose faces the ground. Inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, empty your lungs and fold. And then we're going to reach all the way up for the sky on an inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, come back to your mountain pose. That whole series of poses is all a sun salutation. So we're going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to let you rest. So plant your feet hip width apart, parallel, front of your mat. Meet me in mountain pose. Close your eyes, get in touch with your feet rooting into the ground and the energy of the ground coming up through your legs into your body. Feel all that energy. Feel the strength of the mountain pose. Energize your legs. Energize your whole body. Back is nice and tall. Crown of the head is reaching for the sky. Heart is open. Shoulders together, back and down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Big inhale. Exhale, fold forward. You can have a bend in your knees always and forever. Anytime you want. Inhale, half lift. Shoulders draw away. Exhale, plant your hands. This time, step back with your left foot. And then step back for your right foot. Now, you can lower your knees like you did earlier in the plank for your modified plank, or you can leave your knees up this time. And we're in one long line. Our hips are down. So if our hips are up like this, that's a downward dog. If our hips are down, we're in a cobra or an upward facing dog. So we're in a straight line. I like to tell my students, if I put a marble in between your shoulder blades, it should roll down your back towards your butt, all the way down toward your heels. Don't let it stop at your booty. Press the ground away. Inhale. Make sure those triceps are wrapped. Exhale. Start to lower down. Lower slowly. Give yourself a challenge. Lower all the way down. In one piece, belly stays drawn into the spine. All the way down. Inhale, cobra. Pressing the hands, rolling the shoulders back. You can also move into an upward facing dog, which is where you press the palms in and press the tops of the feet in. So those are the only parts of the body that are touching the ground, and your thighs and your legs are completely off the ground. Heart pulls forward. Inhale, exhale. You can go back, hands and knees, tuck your toes, downward facing dog, upside down. Big breath in, big breath out. This is a time to active recovery. So we still have a lot going on, but it's also a resting pose. Now, being able to get to a place of resting in this pose sometimes takes a little bit of practice. So feel free to come out of it if you need to, and then just go back into it. But continue to breathe. That's what we're focusing on, integrating the breath into our movement. And remember that invitation to release any tension or stress that our breath brings. So our inhale brings us the energy, fills us up, and the exhale can take away any tension, any worries. Inhale, look between your hands. Now you're going to step your left foot up, and then your right foot up. Big breath in, flat back, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. arms reach for the sky. Exhale, mountain pose. All right. Now we're just going to inhale, and we're going to sit in chair pose. Now we're going to pretend like there's an invisible chair behind us. We're just going to sit down. So you can bring your palms together at your heart. You can leave them up, reaching for the sky, or you can have them parallel with the ground. Big breath in, and we're going to sit lower. This is going to challenge our muscles a little bit. Big breath in, and then lower. Big breath in, lower, and if you fall, that's okay, just laugh. Big breath in, and then lower, and sit all the way down onto the ground. All right. Now I want you to go ahead. We're just going to rest. So we're just going to turn all the way over onto our knees. I'm going to show you a child's pose. If you haven't done this before, it is a restorative pose. If any part of this is uncomfortable, I want you to grab pillows and blankets, and we're going to work with it. So your toes are going to come together. You have an option to have your knees together or apart. If you need some space to lay your chest and belly down, you can open your knees up. I like to do that. It feels really good to me to get a nice flat back when I go into child's pose. But sometimes it might feel good to rest your belly on your knees. So we're going to put our forehead on the ground. And what's going to happen is as we walk our hands forward, our hips are going to stay close to our heels. So they're not coming up off of that. They're going to stay there. And then our forehead is going to come to the ground. If this is uncomfortable for you in any way, you have a couple of options. You can put a blanket or towel underneath your thighs, in between your thighs and your calves, and you can rest on it that way. You can put pillows here and rest your chest on that as well, or you can just lie down on your belly or your back. So it's important that we take time to rest and reflect and recharge, and it's kind of my favorite part of yoga because it's got this great high and low. So I want you to be comfortable. So find your comfort. You're going to start to reach your arms out. If anything hurts your shoulders, you can bend your elbows and bring your elbows in line with your shoulders. Forehead goes on the ground like this. All right, you can have your arms extended. You can have them bent. We can call these cactus arms, like goalposts. Or you can have your arms all the way back towards your feet. Whatever feels good to you. And then I want you just to stay there and breathe. You don't have to do anything with your breath other than listen to it. Feel the weight of your body. Let your body get heavy. Let it get relaxed. One more breath in your child's pose. Bring yourself up to your knees. And yoga always ends in Shavasana. It's like a yoga nap. So that is going to be on your back. So lie down on your back. All the way flat. Arms at your side. And there's nothing you need to do here. Nothing you need to hold on to. So let your arms rest, palms up, fingers curl. Toes can flop out, feet can flop out to the side. If your low back gives you trouble, you can always bend your knees and bring your knees together and feet apart. And release that low back tension. And you can rest like this. Shoulders on the ground. You can even press your back of your skull into the ground, lift your shoulder blades up, and lower them down. Bring them together and lower them down so that you have all this space right here to rest. And then just take a few breaths. Resting. Knowing that everybody starts somewhere. Everybody is a beginner at something every single day. It takes bravery to try something new. It takes curiosity. And I think you should be applauded for that. So you tried something new. You're going to start, maybe you're going to start yoga. Maybe you tried it. Maybe you want to keep doing this for a little bit and just kind of run through some sun salutations and get your body moving a little bit. All is good. At least you're moving and you're breathing and you're putting the effort forth and the bravery and the curiosity to try something new, and you definitely deserve to be applauded for that. Take a big long body stretch. Reach your arms up over your head. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a really big hug. Don't you need it? We all need hugs right now. Roll over to your side. Make a pillow with your arm. Like curl up in a little fetal position. So we're like this. Keep your eyes closed. Press your hand into the earth. Sit up on your bum. Cross your legs. Find a comfortable seated position. whatever that is for you. Rest your hands on your knees. Actually, bring one palm flat on top of your heart, the other palm flat on top of that palm. Take a big breath in. Be grateful for every single part of your body just as it is today. Be grateful for your courage to step on the mat today and move and try something new. I'm grateful that you chose to give this a shot today. I'm grateful for it for your sake, what it might be able to bring you. I hope you were able to release some tension and feel kind of good about doing something new and different. Open your eyes, take a deep breath, sigh it out your mouth with gratitude. Thank you so much for doing this practice today and introducing yourself and to yoga and sun salutations. Come back. Do it again. Join me in another class. Give it a shot. I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out.